I think the last thing I wanted to say about Sony, there has been this One Sony strategy
Mm-hmm.
in the background
Uh-huh.
for a
Yeah.
while, and really it was about breaking down the different silos within Sony
Yeah.
and getting that company back on the path to success. Because for a while they were looking a little bit shaky,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as you said earlier, Sony have got a number of different business divisions. They're in consumer electronics. Not just games, TVs,
Yeah.
audio equipment, and the like. They've got a music business.
Yeah.
They've got a film business.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they've got something in TV as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They've got cameras and video cameras and lenses and that sort of thing, and image sensors and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've also got the games division. And you'll laugh at this. I think in Japan they've also got a bank.
Well,
And I think I read it in one of their kind of financial reports.
yeah.
Yeah, they're fairly
It,
diverse in that
it,
regard.
it doesn't surprise me, and that's probably where they
Mm.
funded the whole the
Yeah, maybe.
Epic Games kind of side of things. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other sort of hidden thing is that actually a lot of large corporations have a very huge finance department and financing department that's kind of hidden there outside of their key brands. They've still got a lot of actual financial stuff behind the scenes.
But this thing's a real bank.
Mm, mm, mm.
Shockingly, yeah. But so they got the one Sony strategy to try and break down the silos.
Yeah.
And I think I'll put it this way, right? If you think about how Apple basically put together, iTunes,
Yeah.
they changed the music industry. Yeah, basically how music is played, how it's consumed and sold,
Mm.
and generally how the music industry functions.
Yeah.
Now, back in the day, if you look at those different pillars, there
Mm-hmm.
was pretty much only one other company that could have done that.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
was Sony.
Yeah.
Yeah, Walkman.
Yeah.
They had a foot in the music industry, obviously consumer electronics, all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All of that. Yeah, but they
Yeah.
they just couldn't do it.
Yeah. And then Apple and iPod just took over the
Yeah,
world.
pretty much. I mean, Sony were just too slow moving,
Yeah.
too many silos. Yeah. One of
Yeah.
the reasons I think in the PlayStation brands has basically gone to more of a global model.
Yeah.
They've got one headquarters now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
whereas before you'd hear about Sony of America, Sony of
Mm-hmm.
Europe,
Mm-hmm.
Sony of Japan. They're a much more consolidated, I would say, entity right now.
Yeah.
I actually think this is a lot to do with One Sony,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and also if you've been listening into what Sony and PlayStation are doing, they've obviously got an Uncharted movie
Uh-huh.
with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
They've got a Last of Us TV series
Yeah.
with two of the actors who played well-known characters from Game of
Mm-hmm.
Thrones,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy who's in the Mandalorian, the lead from the Mandalorian.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
They've got a Ghost of Tsushima. I think
Yeah.
it's a film with the director
Mm.
and producer, maybe just the director from John Wick.
Yeah. It's interesting that they're pouring so much into that though, because the
Yeah,
only recent sort of gaming kind of related movie or series that seemed to have done any well was the Witcher one, I think.
yeah, absolutely. Netflix,
Yeah.
right? But what I'm trying to say here, Al, that none of this
Mm.
is B movie.
Mm.
None of this, with the people involved, is second tier. Yeah? And all of this feels like it's the different divisions within Sony
Mm-hmm.
collaborating with one another,
Yeah.
leveraging their IP.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is where I think some of this is coming about.
Yeah.
The One Sony strategy,
Mm-hmm.
the cross-media content they're being producing now.
Yeah.
Even with, I would say, they're trialing this kind of video service on PS Plus now in Poland.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I heard, I think a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And even Bravia
Yeah.
TVs, right, the new ones, they come with this video streaming service now, where you can basically stream IMAX
Uh-huh.
video, and it's free.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it just feels like they're cross-harmonizing all of this sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
but I don't know. Wasn't there also some articles recently around Netflix and its share price also tanking recently? I think as well because I think they're probably the leaders in kind of video streaming kind of services, but I think there's a lot of kind of views that it's reached its peak. People seem to be moving away from it. So then, what does that mean?
And weirdly, Sony and Netflix signed an agreement for them to stream Sony movies. I think exclusively.
Yeah.
And that again touches what Microsoft are going to be doing with Game Pass.
Yeah.
Is this stuff really profitable? If it costs you X amount to produce a movie or a game,
Yeah.
you have a subscription that's Y amount. How do you claw back the investment?
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff.
It's a difficult one because obviously there's still obviously the whole movie industry, cinema industry kind of thing is still in flux with COVID, etc.
Yeah.
Although I've heard also HBO have backed off on the the new Dune movie, which I think is due in June, I think, this year. It was already delayed, but I think they were planning to have it release on HBO Max at the same time as the cinemas.
Well, they're probably thinking, well, people got to start going back. Yeah, I mean, it's fine when no one was allowed out, but now, cinemas were closed.
Yeah.
But now it's, what's our return in investment now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and whether the budgets will continue, right, to be the same size as they were before for movies, right? So
yeah, correct.
Although Mandalorian, I think, was one of those that was actually relatively low budget in comparison to obviously a lot of the kind of other movies, and that was obviously very successful.
Yeah, uses Unreal Engine as well. And that's the thing. I think the one thing I'll say about One Sony, it is Sony trying to come together as an organisation, for better or worse. But you're also going to see some advantages. I mean, I don't know if people understood this, but when the first Unreal Engine 5 demo came out, and they were talking about being able to leverage, let's say, film or television assets, for games, it's a massive thing because thinking about this out loud, for a company like Sony that has, let's say, a foothold in all of these different areas, if they can leverage some of these things, that's going to have an impact.
Oh yeah. Well, that's assuming they can make it work, right? And I think always the problem with series or movies based off of a game, they've not, in most cases, they've not done that well.
Well, that's the interesting thing, and this leads me to probably one of my last points in this section. The remake of The Last of Us. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a remake of the first game, or is it something they're putting together in conjunction with a television series?
Yeah.
Where they're going to be able to then leverage some of the assets.
Yeah.
That's the thing here. I just kind of looking at some of this. I don't even call it evidence, but some of the information out there, and it's kind of like a jigsaw.
Well, you would hope that they would do that, right? And I think this is also what I've been seeing but it's more the Chinese market with Genshin Impact and stuff like that. They've got so many collabs with other kind of media streams, and even with like food venues. So KFC they were doing a collab with, and doing skins and things that were available from going to buy food from KFC, and that was a huge hit in China, to the point at which the government, I think, needed to step in to stop people from congregating around it because of COVID risks.
Yeah, my God. Yeah. But you know what? I will say this, right? The other piece of the jigsaw is the investment in Epic by Sony, which now is about, I think, 450 million.
Yeah.
They dropped another 200 million. I truly think that can only be about Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
Or a big part of it is, because thinking about this, it's, that's the glue to all of this. That is your glue.
Yeah.
If you want to kind of like use assets across the board, that's your glue.
Or maybe it's also, Epic have been pushing their store very hard, right? So, if PlayStation are closing their other stores, I don't know, maybe they offer it through that at some point.
I don't think they're closing their stores out because it's too profitable.
Yeah.
However, they're not likely to expand it across the PC.
Yeah.
So how else would they...
It's a perfect way in.
Yeah. How else would you basically get control over what you're basically selling on PC, but to have some sort of relationship?
Yeah, and it would work in, obviously, Epic have thrown so much money at the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because obviously by doing it, the kind of there's a lot of kind of bad press, bad sentiment as well to the whole Epic exclusive of games for 6 months and stuff. But I think people are starting to come around to it a little bit better, because there's still, you're kind of excluding yourself out of the Steam market. There's a lot of people that still prefer Steam.
Well, yeah, they may not do that, but I mean, my thinking still is it's about the Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously, they've got Sony have got no controlling stake in Epic. They've not dropped enough money for that.
Yeah.
They've dropped the kind of money where you can have a collaborative relationship. Let's say.
Yeah.
So I think this is largely what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Let's conclude this section. I mean, so is Sony complacent? Maybe, but equally maybe not.
I think it's too early to judge.
Yeah, it's too early to judge. I absolutely agree with you, Al. The time to judge is maybe at the end of this year, because Sony have been so silent, and to a degree, I think their approach has been let the other guy or guys speak first.
Yeah.
We'll see what they have, and then maybe we'll counter. Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I don't think they've been very engaging. That part I think is definitely true. Equally, I don't think they've got nothing up their sleeve that they can show. I think they've got something. They're just not ready to tell us yet.
Yeah.
I'm thinking back to that reveal of the actual PlayStation itself, PS5 itself, where for a long time Sony were absolutely saying nothing for a long time.
Yeah.
Aside from the Mark Cerny technical walkthrough.
Yeah.
And that wasn't really well received. Yeah. If I'm being honest, by the typical gamer. I mean, for me, interesting, good information. But for most people, what the hell is this about?
Yeah.
I mean, shit. What is it? What are you talking? What SS? What?
Well, there's a lot of memes anyway, at least coming from the back of it.
Yeah. I mean, I found it extremely informative and interesting, but that's not for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's an element of that. I mean, are they evil? Well, is any corporation evil? Let's be honest. Every corporation out there is after what you have in your wallet. Yeah. That is the long and short of it. And got to keep these guys in check sometimes, don't you?
Yeah.
And that comes down to, please don't be a fanboy.
Yeah.
Be balanced with how you think about these companies. They're not necessarily for you.
Yeah.
Be thankful that Microsoft and Xbox are there as far as the consoles are concerned. Be thankful there is a PC master race of sorts.
Yeah.
Because, these three individual groups by themselves would be unbearable to deal with. But together, they maintain balance.
Yeah.
That's the way you got to think about it.
It should keep them all on their toes, right? And to keep new things coming out. Because otherwise, you're going to end up with, an iteration of FIFA every year. That's all you're going to get.
Stagnation. Yeah, lack of innovation. Companies who are not really for us. They are for us when they're basically being pushed to be for us.
Yeah.
They're not for us otherwise. Yeah.
And
it's the same for AMD, Intel, and Nvidia. That's the other triangle.
Time will tell.
Yeah, exactly. And with that said, let us move on.